Well, see clearly so that we can be very effective.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, we're talking about authenticity this week. And authenticity, it's a part of mindfulness. Being authentic comes from, this understanding of who we truly are and how we express ourselves in the world, and how to do that so that we have the most fulfillment, the most satisfaction in our lives.
To see clearly.
To see clearly.
To see ourselves clearly as well as the world around us.
And our success or our failure in this world and in any endeavor, at work, in relationships, and just in living. The amount of personal fulfillment that we have depend a great deal on our emotional and mental processes. And how do we live out of an emotional or a mental process that brings us that kind of fulfillment? We can be, and I've really come to be aware of this in my trade. For my career for the last 40 years or more has been technology. And my goodness, the last 40 years has brought about some fantastic changes in technology.
I started a whole lifetime of changes.
I started out fixing IBM Selectric typewriters, a completely and totally mechanical device. And yes, computers were available. They were great big
It took a whole room or even a building.
That's right. And
people, frozen spaces,
people
very
in
cold,
lab coats,
and clean rooms, and all of that. Can you imagine that today as you're eating your French fries or potato chips over the computer?
And I was there when IBM introduced the first PC, the very first box from IBM called a personal computer. There were computers before them, before that one, but most of them were considered, hobbyist kind of things. And IBM came out with the personal computer, and then Apple had to do one better, and then IBM had to do one better, and then other people started manufacturing, and all of a sudden we've got all of this technology. Now we've got YouTube, now we've got
And now
Facebook.
We can carry around that little computer in our pocket.
Practically every single one of us has one of these.
Which
and
is a full computer.
That's right. This right here can do more than
that huge computer could do.
That's right.
So many years ago.
It's amazing.
Isn't that
what we've been through.
amazing?
So, but I've noticed throughout my career that you can be very, very, very good at what you do, and or very knowledgeable.
Have lots and lots of skill and training.
That's right. And still not be very successful, still not be very effective at
very happy.
Or very happy at what you do. And this is true for any trade, any discipline. But you can also be, I have to admit it to you, but I'm not necessarily the sharpest knife in the drawer. But over the years, I've been reasonably successful in my career. And, I like to think that I've found at least some small degree of happiness doing what I do. I want to do ministry full time, but I've found some satisfaction doing what I do.
So in a nutshell, what you're trying to say in a single phrase is that you can be very good at what you do and not be very successful. And you can be very successful, but not be the most highly skilled in your trade.
You can be pretty average and still be very successful, very effective, and very fulfilled.
And so it appears to be a conundrum. It appears to be, but it isn't.
That's right.
And why?
It's because of mindfulness. It's because of
that authenticity of who you are in whatever situation you find yourself in.
Mindfulness and authenticity can assist us in the process of whatever it is that we want to do. In whatever we want to do, the practice of mindfulness and being authentic to who you really are can help us get a level of satisfaction and to be effective.
So what we're kind of doing tonight, and for the next couple nights we're going to talk about this, is asking you to think about what you are doing, what you have done with your life, and and where you find yourself on this scale of authenticity. Authenticity being a definition
Yeah.
of being genuine, seeing yourself clearly, seeing those around you clearly, but especially this is an inner process.
That's
Mindfulness is about yourself.
It's an inside job.
And yes.
That's right. Well, just as individuals can be very effective or not, when we come together in relationships, also we can have very successful, very wonderful, very effective, very fulfilling relationships at work and personal relationships, all kind of relationships, and that also has a great deal to do with our authentic self, with being who we are and coming together in effective ways when a team or a business works together well as a team. We can say the word for this in business is culture. The business culture works. And I'm going to turn off that magic little
The business culture works. And so that's you're saying that's how you identify a team that's very authentic, that's working together at a high level of efficiency.
And you can call this different things. You can call it chemistry. When like a sports team, a business team, any people who come together and work on a common goal. We talked about it when we were talking about our vision and mission statement. The ministry here, all of the congregants came together with a shared mission to work together and come up with this vision, this mission, and they were effective in the way in which they came together. And we would say that they had a chemistry together. They had a culture that worked well together. And all of that has to do with being authentic. Each individual has to become authentic to who they are, and the collective has this they work well together. They have a culture, they have chemistry,
A bond together.
That's right. So good chemistry, good culture at work or on a team is enhanced by this self-awareness, this mindfulness practice. And a key factor for successful teams, for successful of any kind, is authenticity. Now, can you think of some sentiment? Well, I'm authentic, I'm real. What can you think of?
Being genuine.
Being
genuine. Honest.
Honesty, transparency.
Direct.
That's right. But you know what? We actually we can think of authenticity on a continuum. If we think of somebody who is not necessarily authentic, what would be a word that you would think of that?
Fake.
Fake.
Phony.
Phony,
Inauthentic.
That's right. Not genuine, false. And you can tell.
How about a liar? Just right out there.
Right out there. You can tell when someone isn't being authentic, when someone is being a phony.
Well, most of us develop kind of a sense, and we may think it and not claim it or make that judgment until we have a little bit more experience with someone. But once we see clearly being around someone who's phony.
Yeah.
Then
Essentially, you get
it's a protective device.
You get a vibe. Why? And people are not always phony for the same reasons.
No. And sometimes they fool themselves. That's
right.
the biggest.
A lot of people want to try to be phony. People are phony because they want to be liked.
Yeah, or because they want to manipulate.
That can be one of
situation.
That can be one motivation, is that people want to manipulate the situation. They want to turn things so that they're on top.
Or they have an agenda.
They have an agenda, and it's a hidden agenda. They don't share that agenda openly. They hide it, and so therefore they are fake. They are phony. But I'm thinking of people who genuinely want to be liked, and so they twist themselves into something they are not. And unfortunately...
Because they think that's what you want.
That's right. And unfortunately, that frequently has exactly the opposite effect. That we can sense that someone isn't being authentic.
And I think people, maybe junior high, high school, kind of try on those personas. Most people grow out of it or learn through that experience and learn to develop an authentic way of approaching the world and life. Some don't, some few don't.
Yeah. But then there is another step along that continuum. So we were going to call the extreme end, we're going to call that phony. Okay. But right there in the middle, we're going to call this honesty. We're going to call this honest. But honest can often have kind of a harsh edge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it can be admirable and it can be painful.
Yeah.
And so how do we develop our honesty without the residual painful potentials there?
Well, people say, "Well, I'm just being honest."
You really ought to get your nose done.
Yeah. Oh dear, you really. And I was taking a look at my own hair in the mirror. I've got a little something going on. Oh dear. Oh, your hair. You really got to do something about your hair. And
the world is full of people who are painfully honest.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is that there are ways to not be painful, to still be sincere.
That's right.
Be in integrity. And when you move into integrity, you can move into authenticity.
Too much honesty or honesty without compassion.
Exactly.
Honesty without compassion can lead to very difficult social situations.
Because there's always that flip side. As a dressmaker, I worked with people and their self-image and their outer image. And oftentimes I would find myself in social situations where I was in a situation where I observed something that could easily be fixed. Let's say this happened not too long ago. I was in the supermarket at Hy-Vee, walking down the aisle. The lady in front of me had her I don't know exactly, her blouse tucked into her pants, tucked into her underwear, and everything was a little bit like, I would have been embarrassed, to be walking down and the thing is, I've always felt the kind thing to do is you don't do this when you're in the checkout aisle. You do this when you have a quiet moment.
That's right.
And say, Honey,
may I help you?
yeah, honey, your clothes are tucked in wrong. Straighten out your underwear or whatever. And I've always been grateful. I'm the one who, if you see spinach in my tooth on a Sunday morning, please tell me. Please don't not. You don't have to say it on camera. You don't have to wait until everybody's in their place. But, if something's really kittywampus, I remember a ballroom dance. I ballroom danced for a number of years. And I was wearing a black gown at a ball, at a performance, a competition, the Ohio Star Ball, I think it was. And, I had made this garment, and I had a full undergarment under it that was white. And I wore this at the practice, at the rehearsal. And someone said to me, she was being honest in her way. She said, "Is that what you're wearing for the competition?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Oh." Now, if she had been authentic, she would have said, "Your underwear is showing through your black gown." I didn't know about that, which was an error. It was not intentional for me to have this white swimming suit showing through my gown. But I wasn't aware of it until I saw the pictures. And every single picture, in my opinion, was ruined, spoiled, because my gown was it was defective. So it would have been kinder and much more authentic if she had said what she was thinking. She didn't say what she was thinking.
So we want to be honest, but we want to have compassion in our honesty.
And consider the context, the timing.
But many times people think they are being honest. I'm just being honest. When actually what they're doing is they are voicing an opinion. And everybody's got opinions.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing
Everyone's
wrong.
entitled.
And absolutely, it's okay to have opinions. It's okay to be passionate about your opinions. But sometimes that passion that we get when we are sharing our opinion, what it gets is it gets obnoxious. It gets rude.
Or hurtful.
Hurtful.
Those are the tests. The tests, does it feel yucky?
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could someone else? It does. The old say it to yourself first, and then if it sounds okay. Would this be something that you would receive well if somebody said exactly the same thing to you? Would you receive it well? Again, our honesty has to have compassion. But
and so we have the ability as human beings to think it through. To think it through.
Yeah, play the tape to the end.
What a good idea.
And put yourself on the receiving end of your honesty. Put yourself on the receipt. How would you feel if someone told you, "I'm just being honest, but look at your hair"?
Well, again, I think the context makes a difference.
Context makes a difference.
If you were getting ready to go on some special program or something, and your hair was all befuddled, but then again, you can consider the situation, and if you were on your way out the door, isn't the time. The time is to consider.
Now, sometimes we kind of sugarcoat our honesty. You know what I mean? We can be honest, but in a way that makes us look good. We can be honest And but we can withhold key information, just to cover
like
our
for
butts.
instance, you really need to change the underwear under that garment,
Yeah.
under that gown. So that
She said something, but she didn't.
she
She
didn't
didn't
give me
say it all.
enough
And
information. It wasn't kind.
she may have thought that she was being kind. It's difficult to know somebody else's motivation. She just asked, "Is that what you're wearing?" Now that alone, she could have said it. Well, is that what you're wearing? And she could have said, "Is that what you're wearing?" Trying to bring your own awareness to what it was, but she withheld the important piece of information. She might have really been trying to say, to tell you something, but she didn't communicate the full message. And it's difficult to know somebody else's motivation. Right. It really is difficult to know what somebody else is thinking.
So being authentic actually means being honest without being self-righteous.
That's right.
I think that is the key element there.
Yeah.
That kind of snooty way.
That's right. So yeah, we have we have opinions, and frequently when we think we're being honest, we're just conveying our opinion. But what happens when we are, and we're passionate about our opinion, and we think that we are so right that there's self-righteousness comes into the situation. So authenticity is honesty without that self-righteousness. It is being fully and completely honest without being self-righteous. Again, practicing compassion so that we're not sugarcoating,
thinking it through, considering the situation, the environment, the person, and not having a perceived reward.
That's right. Why are we sharing our opinion? Yeah. What is our motivation for sharing our opinion? And unfortunately, what happens when self-righteousness comes into the equation? What happens when self-righteousness, I'm sharing my opinion, but I am right? And especially if you have a different opinion, what happens then? If I'm right, well, then that must make you wrong. And then all of a sudden we've got a social problem. We've got a problem that detracts from that chemistry, that culture, that teamwork, where we come together for a purpose. When I'm right, and I am so right that I try to make you wrong with my self-righteous attitude, then I am calling you. I'm not only calling you wrong; it gets extreme. You're not only wrong, but you're bad. You're evil in some situations because you have a different opinion.
Yeah, I think that that isn't what Fillmore was talking about when he was talking about judgment as one of the 12 powers.
That's right.
Having good judgment is a very valuable tool, but having the ability to discern and make good decisions for oneself. But grading things as right or wrong, good or evil, can often be a dead-end street,
That's right.
Very painful process.
We call that we call that judgment. That's one of the reasons why I'm so
it's a
grateful.
kind of judgment.
Yeah, in the original language of the 12 powers, the word judgment was used, and now we've gotten away from the word judgment.
We use discernment.
We use the word discernment more. And I think that's more just because of the word judgment has gotten kind of a bad rap. But we do need to decide a direction in life. We need to decide, is this right for me? Is this wrong for me? What do I want to be? What do I want to live out of? What is my authentic self? We need that kind of judgment, but we do not need the kind of judgment that makes other people wrong. And, I take a look, and things are kind of troubling in the news. Well, they've been kind of troubling in the news for eons. And in any age and in any generation, you can take a look at what's going on in the news, and you can find these kinds of disagreements and separations where we are not in alignment with everyone. But it does seem right now that there is sort of a fever pitch of one side calling the other wrong, and the other side is pointing the finger right back and saying, you're wrong. And it has escalated recently. And it's very, very unfortunate.
Very painful, and it's also scary for some.
It's
extremely destructive
It
for our
creates
nation.
distance. It creates a disconnection. And mostly, what we need to realize is that we are sharing an opinion and becoming self-righteous about that opinion. We're not sharing our opinion with compassion. We're not even sharing a higher truth as we know it. We are just making the other wrong.
Right.
And that is judgmentalism. That is...
And it's pretty much a waste of energy.
It's very tiring.
It's misleading, and it's very, very tiring. Yeah, exhausting.
It just zaps our energy and our strength.
Yeah, but it just creates more distance between people.
And once that distance has been established, what we look for is further evidence. We've now established that the other side is wrong, and now we try to collect as much evidence as we possibly can to reinforce the idea that the other side is wrong. And we look for other people who agree with us. And as soon as they agree with us, then that kind of confirms, well, we are right and they are wrong. We go to great lengths sometimes to see that disconnection, that distance.
And, there are tools, there are skills that can be used and developed, diplomacy, teamwork.
Beginning with mindfulness. Beginning with meditation. Beginning with coming to an awareness of a higher truth. Martin Luther King said, you have very little moral persuasive power with people who can feel your underlying contempt. I love that quote.
Isn't that beautiful?
You have very little moral persuasive power with people who can feel your underlying contempt. We talked about this, but you can feel when people are being phony. Well, you can feel when people have this contempt for you because they think you're wrong and you think they're wrong. And, you start off with this distance. And when you start off with the basic assumption, you're wrong.
It's very divisive.
Now,
I'm going to use this quote Sunday.
Yeah. Now that you feel my underlying discontent, my underlying contempt for you, Now I'm going to try to persuade you to my side of the argument?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think I want to even hear it.
That's right. We cannot influence or persuade people if they know or if they feel our contempt for them.
There's kind of a shutdown happens.
That's right.
Right.
It just closes the doors. It closes the gates to our hearts and to our understanding. So we must learn the difference between self-righteousness and conviction. You know, we've said having an opinion is okay. Having conviction about that opinion.
Being passionate about
Being
it.
passionate
No
about
problem.
it. No problem. It's okay to have an opinion, and it's okay to be passionate about that opinion. But mindfulness begins, and humility begins with the acknowledgement, I might be wrong. Even something that we are passionate about, I might be wrong.
And the awareness that I might be wrong for me, but not necessarily for you.
And vice versa. I'm following my inner guidance. I am being my authentic self, and I see and know that you have to learn your lessons in your way, at your time, and every step. I have to. This is in psychology. We study. Roger. I can't think of his name, but the Rogerian approach to psychology, to counseling, is essentially that I have to trust that your inner teacher, your inner guide, has your answers. If I've got all of your answers and then all you have to do is follow what I tell you to do, then you really haven't learned all that much, have you?
No.
So
most people aren't wired that way.
That's right. So,
and this is one of the things, especially with parenting, that is so difficult to learn, for parents to learn.
Yeah.
But comes a time where we have to begin to trust that our children have learned the foundational teachings we've shared with them, and we need to trust them to start drawing their own conclusions, coming to their own truth.
Yeah, and it is certainly a much healthier way for us to live as well. It is not just that we're doing somebody else this great favor by letting them come to their own conclusions. We are also doing ourselves the most remarkable favor of all, because our self-worth doesn't get wrapped up in our having to be right. Again, this self-righteousness. Again.
Truthfully, our self-worth, say that 3 times really fast, is not contingent on the outer.
That's right.
It's an inside job. And so what we've been talking about is mindfulness and the importance of authenticity in mindfulness. And next week we're going to go on with this topic and take it further. And so we hope you've enjoyed this little bit of discussion. And we hope, please feel free to give us some feedback.
That's right. We love to see your comments in the comment field.
And Evan, I think you've got another song for us.
Yeah, this is
something
Karen
gentle,
Drucker.
Beautiful.
Carol Huntley and Karen Drucker. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. are the face of God. That's right, there were hand gestures to that.
Trying to remember, you are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are the
You
face.
are a part of me.
You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. And you are the face of God.
So beautiful. Yes, you are. Just know that truth for yourself.
Yeah. And you know, this is the time that for us to pour out the gifts of God from within us through our tithes and offerings. And let us share our offertory blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. And you can thank you, God, and you can send your tithes and offerings to paypal.me/UnityLincoln. That's paypal.me/UnityLincoln. Or if you're already on PayPal, you can send it directly to office@unitylincoln.org. You can also send your tithes and offerings the old-fashioned way, through the mail or through bank transfers. You can send it to Unity Lincoln, P.O. Box 30209, Lincoln, Nebraska 68503. Or you can go to our website at unitylincoln.org, and there you will find a convenient link to donate to PayPal. You can also support Unity Lincoln by signing up for the Amazon Smile program.
That was really great, especially during the holidays.
Oh yeah, I think we a lot of people bought things on Amazon, and we were very much gifted this season. So you can go and sign up for the Amazon Smile program so that each and every purchase that you make on Amazon.com supports Unity Lincoln.
It all adds up.
It all adds up. And please remember to like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, give us that big thumbs up, and leave comments in our comments section. Let us know what you would like us to be talking about, what you would like to see. If you are a part of our community here in Lincoln, Nebraska especially, let us know how we can best serve you.
You know, Evan, I got an email to minister@unitylincoln.org today from a lady asking if Charles Fillmore said anything about the 1918 pandemic. And you know what? We've done a little bit of research, and he spoke in much more general terms about things like that. He did live through it. Myrtle did also, and their family, as well as a number of other catastrophes in this country.
They lived through the Great Depression. As a matter of fact, Charles Fillmore wrote his book on prosperity during the Great Depression.
Right. And he the collected talks of Charles Fillmore, many of them in Atom Smashing Power of the Mind, one of his collections, one of his books. Many of them were spoken. They were his talks during the pandemic.
That's right.
Of 1918, 1919. So it's in there. But he was thinking in much more general, much more long-lasting terms with what he discovered, what he learned through those experiences.
That song that we sang today, all these atoms, all the molecules, these little bugs that are associated with a virus like the coronavirus, like the pandemic flu of 1918 and 1919, those germs, those bugs, they don't have malicious intent. They are not evil. They have a gift for us, a gift of wisdom. And we can choose to be blessed by the wisdom of those little bugs.
Yes.
That's right.
And what did the first scientist who saw them with the microphone?
Animalcules. Oh, you're thinking
animalcules.
You're thinking of the microscope. Van somebody.
Dutchman.
Dutchman.
Yes.
He thought they were cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and so it is part of the experience that the Fillmores went through, and there are writings, but they are much more general. They're much more aimed for us to use today than you would imagine.
That's
They
right.
are not specific to only 1918, 1919, and those experiences.
You know what? Let's sing our prosperity song.
All right.
Give and God gives it back to you. Give and God gives it back to you. Give and God gives it back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, back in good measure. God gives it back to you. Sing it over, give and God gives it back to you. Give and God gives it back to you. Give and God gives it back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, back in good measure. God gives it back to you.
Yes. And we have an affirmation.
That's right. And our affirmation for our church family, let's share this together. Unity Lincoln is blessed to draw the people, funds, and all that is required for the health and growth of our community and peace in the world, heart to heart. And let's share a few announcements here. Adeline's Friends Book Club is returning. They've been on a little bit of a hiatus for
January
the holidays.
19th.
January 19th.
If you would like the link, if you would need further information, this is the book.
No, as a matter of fact, that's the last. I've got to change the artwork.
Yes,
this
you
is
do.
That was the last book they studied. They are going to be studying and talking about Marianne Williamson's Return to Love. It's Contemplations on A Course in Miracles.
Beginning January the 19th. That's a Tuesday at 6.
Contact the office if you would like. They meet via Zoom, and contact the office if you want the Zoom link.
It's a great class.
That's right. And my metaphysics class meets every Sunday morning live on YouTube and Facebook. Pardon me. We're talking about healing now. We've just moved out of the 12 powers, and we are moving into healing. And then at 10:30 on Sundays is our worship service, and that is the high point of my week is Sunday morning in our worship service. I like this Wednesday night too.
Yeah, me too.
That's it.
Yes, and so please join us. We'd love to
We would love to see
you
you
there.
And let us share our prayer for protection. Together,
The
the
light
light
of
of
God
God surrounds us,
The
the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We are so grateful that you have been able to join us here tonight for Unity Cafe. Please join us again, dear friends. God
Have a
bless.
wonderful week ahead. God bless.